What's up? Welcome. We're back, and today I want to show you how I made my new song called MILO. This was the first song that I started in quarantine since this coronavirus stuff happened. So that's why it's got like a different kind of feel. It's a bit more chilled out, a bit more relaxed. When I went into this project, I always start things differently, but this time I knew that I was going to be doing like a melodic-y, more musical kind of track, so I went in and started with the piano. And here's the chords that I drew in. It's very similar to my song Samil, mostly the difference is within this top part of the chord, which is doing like the melody you hear. The piano that I'm using is the Arturia from the retro collection called Piano. So here it is here. It's a grand piano emulator there. The next main element that I picked was the bass line. It's just following the root note of the chords. And the synth that's playing this is another Arturia plugin. This time it's the ARP. This synth's really complicated to use. You can see all the dials and knobs and stuff. So for the filter cutoff, I'm actually using the EQ8, and I'm using this as the filter. You can see here when the filter opens up, I'm using the EQ8 to do the filter work there. I've just EQ'd out a little bit around 500 hertz here, just to make room for that ARP you hear come in later. So that's the bass line. There's this other really cool sound here that's kind of following the chords. It's this like vocal synth. Sounds like a male choir. It's actually Contact, this bank called Exhale, called Underpad here, the preset, and every sound in this synth is created using vocals only. So it gives this really nice organic layer that you can't really get from just using a synth. So that's playing throughout the track, giving me a really unique kind of sound. The other element you can hear driving the track along is this tom, which is just following the notes of the bass line again. It's not doing the sub, it's doing like the mid-range sub, so it's hitting around 100 hertz there, and it's just Spire, a preset that's it's like an 808 bass patch type thing. And then the main sound is probably this arpeggiator, which is sort of following the notes of the chords, but it's doing its own melody. I don't like using an arpeggiator plugin or a MIDI plugin. I like to draw it in myself. You got much more control. So it's kind of following the chords, but it's got these extra notes that's giving it the melody. And to help myself, the track's in G minor, so I've coloured in every note in G minor in the scale a couple times, and then I've pressed fold, and that gets rid of every other notes that's not in that scale, so I can move these things around. And it's not always going to sound good, but it sounds okay, like it could work. So it just makes things easier. So this sound is Nexus. I use Nexus a lot, this Hollywood ethno pack. So in here there's a lot of world type sounds. So this time it's a mallet, the log drum. So I'll turn these overdrives off. So it's just a simple mallet, but this overdrive is really giving it the crunch that it needed. So I've got two overdrives. The first one, this one here is doing the main characteristic of the sound, and this other one I'm using to give it more drive as the track goes on. So it's kind of like I'm using it to open up the filter. So you can see here in the build-ups, it's getting really chaotic. So I'm using that one to, it's essentially like opening up a filter. So I'm using that to make the sound bigger. And then something that I always do in my tracks is have these little glitch effects. And I've made this little bank here, this chain of different effects. So as the track's going, I can just automate these. The first one's H delay by Waves, so I've got that on a really tight delay. Second one's just the volume. Third one's is a reverb, and the fourth one is another really tight delay. And that's one more element to add is I wanted to give this track like a really nice, warm, relaxing feeling to it. So I use these. It's from Cashmere Pack. This Outback Sounds, which gives it like a really nice, warm, organic sound. And all together, and that's the track. So again, not too many elements, got to keep it simple, just a few nice elements working well together. Like a glass of Milo, that's all you need.